Thank you very much. Thank you, Paolo, for the introduction, and thank you, team, for making it possible. I would like to share with you the purpose. Why are we here? Why I thought about doing this workshop. The reason why is that I'm convinced that in order to be a successful Agile coach, being expert in Agile practices is not enough. It doesn't make the cut. What I believe is that additional coaching skills are required, and they are vital for both team and individual success. Certified team coaches are required to demonstrate proficiency through core Agile coaching competencies. Those 5 core Agile competencies we are going to cover throughout this workshop. What I observed as a CTC review team member is that many applicants get the second part of the application wrong. Although there is a clear statement, which is to be evaluated on your, you will be evaluated actually, on your understanding, on your ability to articulate, and on how you apply specific skills or competencies through an effective coaching mindset and approach. And I repeat, through an effective coaching mindset and approach. Basically, what that means is that consequently, it's not sufficient, it's not enough to have skills and competencies. What we are really looking forward to is how do you show up as having the appropriate coaching thoughts, and how do you bring it into life. The way that I thought that we can actually have this workshop as we're going to use morale, and the morale link is going to be shared with you in Zoom chat. And what I'd like to do next is, let's set the stage first. I'm going to share my screen quickly with you and show you what do I mean by that. When you log into Morale, please do it anonymously. And let me set the stage. Just bear with me for a sec. Okay. Go. Share screen. Okay. Can you please confirm that you see my screen verbally?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. So you have the learning objectives set in Morale. And what I'd like to reveal to you are some rules of engagement. We are going to use Zoom, which is what we are doing right now. My invitation to you is please turn on the webcam. Unless I'll invite you to, please remain muted. Bear in mind that chats will be saved. So if there's a piece of information that you don't feel comfortable with sharing there, please do not. And we are going to have some breakout room sessions. So please try to make out of them. Now, what will happen in the breakout room sessions is that we are going to use Morale. I kindly ask you to listen to all voices, involve everyone. However, if for some reason, and you don't need to specify the reason, you don't feel like you want to participate, you just want to observe the exercise, it's perfectly fine to say, hey, I would like to pass. Okay, now at the end of this session, I'm going to export the Mural workspace so that everything that you will capture there will be available to you and can support you in your journey to become CTC. Finally, you might have some questions. I'd like to keep them towards the end. If for whatever reason we run out of time, I'm going to make myself available in the coaches clinic so that you can catch up with me. I will stay also 15 minutes following this session. So again, if you have some questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And last but not least, I'm going also to give a talk for North America with 7 tips. I extend my invitation to you. If you can make it, I will be more than happy to welcome you there. Now I'm going to switch a tab. Can you see Slack right now? Can you please confirm verbally?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So this is the moment 3 years ago where I decided to announce that I became CTC. And the first person who heard about it was not my daughter, was not my wife. It was Michael Della Mata. I contacted him via Slack and I shared with him the message that you can see right now. And this was his reply. How will you celebrate? How will you announce it? And I have huge respect to Michael. And when I saw that questions, I was like, okay, probably I need to think about something deep. Come on, Amir. What is the first thing that come up through your mind? And I'd like to share with you what I had in mind, which is like this. Can you see a silhouette of a person?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. So this is me. This is how I celebrated. And I would like to set the stage for you to have success. So my invitation for you is to go to the first exercise in Morale. What we are going to do, there's going to be breakout rooms of 4 people, and you are going to answer 4 simple questions, which is, what's your name? Where do you live? Where are you in your CTC journey? And then how are you going to celebrate? Imagine that your CTC has just been approved. How are you going to announce it? How are you going to celebrate? You don't need to write down the questions. The questions will be available in Morale. If you want to, you can use my own example, which is fine. If you'd like to come up with your own, it will be perfectly fine too. I would also like you to capture your ideas in the designated area of the breakout rooms. You will see that each breakout room has a specific column, and generate some sticky notes and write your answers on them. Let me enable that specific section in Morale. Now, another thing which is worthy to mention is that each breakout room has a specific color, which will help you to navigate. So for example, 16 to 20 has a green color, and so on and so forth. Now let's get started. Over here you have the questions. I will make also the poster available so that you have the questions over there. Any last questions before we will start the exercise for 4 minutes? If you have any questions, just unmute yourself.
Or you could add it to the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever there is a question, when you are in the breakout room, feel free to ask for help, and one of us will jump into the breakout room and assist you there. Okay, so let's get started. You will have 4 minutes for this exercise. Breakout room of 4 people. You're going to use morale, and let's see what happens from there.
All right, I'm going to assign you all to breakout rooms. Some of you might see a little bit more than 4, just depending on how the assignment goes. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'll be opening the rooms now. Please select to join your rooms.
Enjoy the session.
So we've got some rooms with 4 and some with 5, just the way the assignment's gone.
No, it's perfectly fine.
And 1 person on their own at the moment in breakout room 5.
Yeah.
I should move them. I'm going to move them to another breakout room if that's okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
That's it, she's moved. Okay, I think we're good. Amir, are all the instructions in the Zoom, in the mural? Yeah,
yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
We still have some people who have not joined the breakout rooms. Are you willing to join?
Yeah.
Or you're happy to stay here in the main room?
Are they set to mute?
Yeah, let's just.
Hello. Sorry for interrupting the session. I wanted to join the coach's clinic, but seems like there's no host or something.
So if you go to swap card, did you try that, Simon? Go to swap card and try to link on the swap card.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
tried that.
So if we open that, then it says like we need to wait for the host to let us in.
Yeah, because the host is allowing 1 person at a time. So you just need to wait there because you know there is a limited number of people that can join the breakout rooms. So the host will let you in by order from where you got in. So 1 person at a time, you have to answer the questions if you want to do reverse coaching or if you want to do you know, pair coaching. So you just have to wait for a bit until she allows you in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, I see. So it's one like
Waiting room,
I guess
yeah.
Agile coach who is doing this clinic.
No, so there are about 20 plus Agile coaches, but it looks like the response has been tremendous. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, but it is like for 2 hours. So, you know, just, you know, please wait in the waiting room. They will let you in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
I would love to join a breakout room, but I never got the message.
Okay.
Probably because I joined
Where is
late.
you on mute?
They're just about to close, Francesco. So you can join the next session in 10 minutes or so. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
And we've got Venkatesh.
Amir?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm going to close the breakout rooms now. Is that okay?
Yeah, excellent. And I wanted to welcome you, Francesco.
Close the rooms.
Thank you, Amir. Sorry for being late. I had
No
small
problem.
hiccup this morning.
Hey, safe room.
So that's people just coming back now. All right, that's the rooms properly closed. So everybody should be rejoining now.
Excellent. Welcome back. And I hope that the connections that you made in the breakout room will help you to support each other in your CTC journey. Now, when I started my CTC journey, I was truly confused. I was like Inspector Gadget, as you can see in this poster. I was like, okay, where am I going to, what am I going to do next? How do I move forward, and so on and so forth. Imagine 3 years ago, before the COVID-19, I attended the Scrum coaching retreat in Kiev. It was 3.5 years ago, and I met Gene Gendel, who recommended me to stay in touch with Michael Della Mazza, because Michael Della Mazza created a CTC Scrum interest group, and I was told that I'm not alone in my journey, and you are not alone in your journey too. So my invitation to you is to connect and support each other in your journey. Now, one of the things that I found in the CTC application is that it was extremely challenging. It wasn't easy. It needed some deep reflection and having different perspectives of the work that I've done so far and of the way that I was thinking. So I think that the first part took me like half a year. The second part, which in my opinion was far more challenging, took me like 9 months. So altogether 15 months. My invitation to you is to make the most out of it. Take into consideration the feedback that you get. It's not that you fail as a person or you pass as a person. It's where your application is at this point in time. And what should you do differently to become a better version of yourself? So from my perspective, I truly enjoyed the journey. I discovered more things about myself. I discovered some things that I should improve. And for me, that opportunity was just tremendous. I just truly loved it. So my invitation to you is to take the time, support each other, and help each other to succeed. Put the feedback that you get into the application. Do not rush. Now, I mentioned in the very beginning the purpose. how I notice as a CTC review team member that many people get the second part wrong. And I'd like to focus on that part. And the way that you are going to do it is we have some tremendous experience here among you people. And I'd like you to teach each other, share with each other your experience. And I'm going to supplement it a bit with my own experience. So the way that we are going to do it is in the second exercise, we are going to cover the first two Agile coaching competencies, which appear in the second part of the application. You'll be given 10 minutes. You will join a breakout room of 6 people, and you will answer the question that is given in Mural, okay? You will also see a description of what the two Agile coaching competencies are. Let me just activate it in Mural. So the first two are facilitate and educate. And my invitation to you is to write down on sticky notes in the designated area, what are the facts that you know about the two coaching competencies. That is from your own experience, what you heard from others, what you think that is expected from you. And be also ready, once the 10 minutes are gone, to share some of the sticky notes that you generated in your breakout room. Now, we cannot cover all the breakout rooms, so I'll give you 5 minutes. Afterwards, I will invite you to speak, and once 5 minutes are gone, we'll move on to the workshop. Okay, so let me pause here. Are there any burning questions before we go into the second exercise? Are the instructions clear? Is there anything which puzzles you? You are not sure what you should do?
I have to say that I'm not sure what I should do.
Thank you. What you should do is within the breakout room, you should generate answers using sticky notes to the question that I put in Mural. So you will see a description of what facilitation is. You will see a description of what educate means. And then you will generate with sticky notes, what are your thoughts? What are facts that you know about what is expected from you as a certified team coach when you speak about facilitate and educate? Okay, is it clear?
Clear now, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Other questions that you have?
No, thank you.
All right, let's get started. 10 minutes, breakout rooms of 6 people, and make the most out of this exercise.
All right, I'm just opening the breakout rooms now. If you can select to join, please. Okay, that's a good spread. I've got one room with just 4 in it, but Mark's in that room as well, so we should be okay.
Would you like me to join the breakout rooms too? What is your preference?
Paulo, you're on mute.
Can we actually move from one room to another?
Yes,
I don't
as
think we.
co-hosts, you can join any of the rooms. If you
I can't
select
see. Where
breakout,
do I see the rooms?
if you select breakout rooms on your menu at the bottom,
Yeah, I
you
don't have
should
it.
see yourself in one of the rooms, and you should be able to move yourself to a different room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
three
Yeah.
it will
dots.
give you the room you want to join first.
Yeah.
Then you need to come out of that, right?
Yes.
So you can,
Okay.
yeah.
You can move to any room. So Amir, you should be able to do that as well. You should be able to move yourself to any room and then join.
Excellent. I'll do so. What are your thoughts so far? Is there anything I should
I have one question,
slightly
Amir.
change? Yeah, please. Mhm.
Yes. So when the instructions in for each of the exercises are being given, you actually you're going through it with our participants. But I'm able to click on the link to the instructions, and I'm able to follow through what you're saying. I'm just wondering whether, if you shared your screen when you're going through the instructions, whether they'd be able to understand it better, or did you do it that way on purpose?
What I do is to summon everybody to that
Yeah.
section that I reveal.
Okay.
And if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, it's good for me to know so that I
Okay.
can ensure that it happens.
Okay. So what I'm saying is when you were going through the instructions, you were not sharing your screen. So they were only listening to what you were saying. I don't know whether some people would have benefited from having it in front of them, your screen shared, so that as you're going through the instructions, because they can click on it themselves, but they don't know about that. They don't know to go and look at the instructions, and they've only got limited time, so they just want to go straight in there and put their post-it notes. I mean, what do the participants, what do my co-hosts think?
Yeah.
I think let's ask the attendees if they want to join a breakout room, because there are a few attendees here.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to join the breakout rooms? Osman, yeah.
Definitely, it's interesting to me. Hello, everybody. For first,
Yeah,
sorry
hello.
for being late.
Hello.
Apologize. Hi, Amir. And yeah, if I can jump in and see what's going on there. Hopefully, somebody will.
Yeah, you still have time.
I'll assign you to breakout room 3, Ojan.
And Christy as well. Christy, would you like to join or would you like to stay here? You've got the right to pass.
I am happy to join breakout room.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well done.
I'm going to assign you to breakout room 3.
Cool.
Yeah. So one thing that I can do differently indeed is to share my screen so that people who are more inclined into visual senses can have it too. Yeah, so I think it's a nice idea. I'm going to do it. Thank you for that.
I mean, I don't know whether you, okay, sorry, go ahead.
How are we doing on time? So this session.
Oh, you mean the total
yeah, for the whole session. So we've got this session goes till 10:20, yeah? So 10:20 UK time. So it's now we've got another 40 minutes or so.
Yeah. So I think that we are doing just fine. I also have the schedule in front of me.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
And I think obviously as we go through the exercises, people may start to have questions in their mind. So when they come out of those breakout rooms, we can start prompting them or reminding them that, you know, if you've got any questions, don't forget to put it into chat.
Or we could invite them to unmute themselves if we want to do that. It just depends if we want to do that.
Yeah, depend on Amir's.
Yeah. Let's see how we are time-wise.
About 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So right now we are just on time. My fear is that if I take questions we might be a little bit over time. Yeah.
You could do it at the end when you whatever time you've got.
Yeah. So I've
and,
noticed
and
that some
I'm going
people.
to reiterate. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people have already posted some questions. So, like for example, we got Shell. What was the most challenging part of your CTC application?
Yeah, she said that, but then Amir said the second part was more challenging. So I felt that it had sort of answered that one. I didn't raise that one, but yeah. I think there was only that one, wasn't it, Paulo? There was two, wasn't it?
Yeah, there is one from Luis. Cover all the knowledge plus mindset. Don't know what that means.
Yeah. Obviously, the only suggestion I would make is to remind people if they've got a question, to use the word question and then ask what they want, because this is the European region. English is not the first language of some participants, so it may not come across as a question when they ask it.
Yeah,
they make it comes as a comment, whereas to them it's a question in their mind.
Good point. And hey, English is not my first language either.
Oh, you're doing fine.
Thank you. Okay, how much time we have left?
We've got about another 3 minutes left.
All right. I'm really curious to see what people will come up with. It's nice.
Are you watching the mural as well, Amir?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye as
yes.
well.
So you can notice that I look down from time to time.
Yeah.
I don't look at the camera. I'm also looking at the computer. Yeah.
That is the problem with Zoom, isn't it? Where we look at the screen instead of our cameras.
Yeah, that's really wicked. I'd love to have a solution for that.
I think we need teleprompters like they have in TV studios.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of stuff on
close
Miro already.
to actually get one. Yeah, I was that close to get one, and I said, "Man, you need to stop somewhere, right?"
Yeah,
I mean, it's perfectly fine to explain to people whenever I gaze down. I actually have a look at the computer. So, yes.
So just to, if you're looking at Miro, Amir, you can see a lot of people are going to the instructions, and they're actually going through the instruction lines. So they are actually now spending time looking at the instructions, which they could have been using, filling out the sticky notes. Yeah, I can see a lot of movement in the instructions. Yeah.
What it might indicate is that they are already at the at the second coaching competency.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, we focused on facilitate. Now we go to educate.
Okay.
It also might mean that the instructions were not clear. Yeah, that's another possibility.
Well, on the other hand, it might also refer to the first one, the fact that people need to make sure that they do the first one, do it correctly, and then go back and check exactly what they need to do for the second one. So, but so far so good. There's a lot of sticky notes, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
So that's us into the final.
Excellent. One thing that I noticed is that there's a lot of movement throughout the morale, which is great because it means that they are actually engaged. And I didn't notice any confusion between the breakout rooms, which is also nice.
Okay, we're getting people back now.
Yep.
We've got about 10 seconds left before I close the rooms. Okay, that's me closing the rooms now. I put a 30 seconds timer on it this time, so they should rejoin a bit quicker. Nobody's coming back. They must be deep in discussion. There's always a panic when you see that timer.
Yeah.
True.
That's it now.
Hello, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome back. I'm truly curious. You were away for 10 minutes, and I'd like to hear from you. What did you come up with? So my invitation to you is to raise your hand, and then we'll give you permission to unmute yourself. Who'd like to go first? What ideas did you write?
Raise your hand on the participants.
Yeah, raise your hand on Zoom if you can, guys.
On the participant window. Oh, there you go. You got Simone?
Excellent. Go ahead, Simone.
Hi all. Yeah, we discussed a few things in the room. We started with things that we do. So what is it to facilitate? We started to stay neutral, but we also deliberate in case we have to shift from that into some teaching as an example. So some of the things we do, and then we kind of step back into what happens before that, because it's not just the doing, but there's the planning and beforehand. So what are the possible frameworks and steps we want to get people through? What's the objective? How do we make sure that people recognize us as the facilitator and kind of give us that power, because it's their meeting in the end. So kind of thinking from a principle approach, we're trying to stay neutral. We're defining a process. We're trying to achieve a goal, and then we get into techniques. We can get some even from the Agile retrospective books, and as an example. Then we go and facilitate it, and we look at the people that are there, and we make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. We recognize conflict. We help them handle it in the open. Mm-hmm. So it was a very good discussion, going from things we do, then we went up. We explored some of the real challenges, and we kind of coached each other for a moment. And we recognize that when we get into the educational part, education can't really happen without facilitation, because effectively we are running something for people. So some of that facilitation techniques also play a role in that. So that was group one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for sharing that. Other breakout rooms, what did you come up with?
In our breakout room 4, facilitation is the idea to create an environment to enable people to achieve something. And educate in our context means share knowledge and the agile mindset to spread our mindset and the way of working.
Mm-hmm.
That's it from the breakout room 4.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So when it comes to facilitation, as you said, what we are looking into is also the why of facilitation. What's the purpose? Why are we doing it? What are we trying to achieve? To whom are we trying to achieve it? And since we are speaking about certified team coach, we are also looking into examples of facilitation across teams. Okay, so it's not only one team. One team is nice. What we are looking into is an expansion of that. That is, how did you facilitate across teams? What was the reason? Why did you choose one specific technique over possibility and endless possibility of other techniques? What is your way of thinking around it? How do you show up as a facilitator? Now, when it comes to educate, it is in a similar fashion, meaning that, okay, we are speaking about agile practices. We're speaking about having the mindset. Why are we doing it? How do we do it? Also, how do we evaluate the outcomes of our education? How do we know that what we are doing actually provides value to our clients? And when we're speaking about educating, so yeah, we might, if we speak about Scrum, we might educate Scrum Master, we might educate Product Owner, we might educate the other members of the Scrum team, that is the development team. Yet, we'd like you to go beyond that. So how do you educate a department, for instance? How do you educate at executive level? Okay, so basically go beyond one team and try to expand it across teams, across departments, and so on and so forth. All right, so that was regarding the two competencies. Quick question that I would like to bring is, do you feel more comfortable when I share the instructions with you, besides hearing, also to share the screen so that you can see the written format of the instructions in Morale? What are your thoughts? Thumb up, thumbs down? Yeah, I can see thumbs up. Yeah, okay, thank you. And you can see that I'm gazing down. When I gaze down, it actually means that I have a look at the laptop. I have the camera over there. So my invitation to you is to discover the next 3 coaching competencies. And I thought to myself, since we are doing it online, what if you will actually go onto a treasure hunt online too? Meaning that, let me first share the screen, as I said. And I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to activate it. Okay. So what you're going to do, in the next 15 minutes, you are going to find as much information as possible about one of the 3 coaching competencies. So we have balance, we have assess, and we have catalyze. On top of that, you will also see in morale a description of what that means in the context of the CTC application. Now, each breakout room in the designated area will have a different coaching competency. Now, let's do things a little bit differently. So I think that last time, how many breakout rooms did we have?
Last time we had 5 breakout rooms. This time we are likely to only have 4 if you want to increase the numbers.
Right. Yes, so let's increase the number to 8. And what we will do differently is that each breakout room will pick up a different coaching competency. So the first breakout room will take the first coaching competency which appears in the screen, which is balance. The second breakout room will pick up assess. And you will see in the morale that I put under breakout room 2 balance, yet we are going to tweak it a little bit for the sake of you to get the most out of this session. The third breakout room will pick up the third coaching competency, which is catalyze, and the fourth one has the liberty, the freedom to choose any of the 3. You'll be given 15 minutes, 8 participants in each breakout room, and you'll try to find as much information as possible online regarding the chosen coaching competency. And my request from you is to generate sticky notes, and please also post your source of information, a link, so that people can also have a look at that later if they didn't participate in your breakout room. What burning questions do you have before we go into the breakout rooms? And I'll have a look back at you. Stop sharing my screen. Right. Burning questions, anything which is unclear regarding what should you do in the next 15 minutes? Again, you should be prepared for...
When you say sticky notes, do you mean virtual sticky notes or kind of real sticky notes?
Virtual sticky notes.
On the mural.
Thank you for that. On the mural. Thank you for that, Mark. Yeah. Okay. And again, once the exercise is over, in the following 5 minutes, you can share what did you come up with all of us in the main room. Are we ready to get started? Yeah? All right,
good.
15 minutes.
Okay, I am opening the rooms now. Please select to join. So there's a few people not joined yet. Nicholas, are you joining? Simone?
They're probably not listening or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this have been the same.
Yeah, it's making some of this spread a little bit top heavy. So I think we've got about 5 in each room now, which is fine. Yeah, it's 5 in each room. It's a nice spread. It's good.
So 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes?
The timer set for 15, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Do we intend to visit or leave it to people to self-organize and collaborate? Amir, what's your choice?
That's the intention. That's the intention behind. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Time-wise, we are still doing good. We are a little bit behind schedule.
Okay.
We'll still finish on time. It's crazy with online workshops. It's like time has a different dimension when
it does.
We are speaking about virtual. Yeah.
In person, body language and dynamic approach communicates and shares the message quicker and better. Online, there's no gauge to see how people are receiving the information. I do find out when I'm speaking online, I tend to speak slower as well, because I'm conscious that I could speak very fast sometimes, and if it's too fast, it just goes over people's head. So there's so much adjustments that we have to do with this new way of working. We have to adjust our mental approach to communicating.
Yeah.
Does anybody else experience a difference in their communication style, communication approach, in person versus online?
Yeah. It needs to be a lot more interactive to remain attractive and keep people interested.
Yeah, and energy. I think if you're presenting. You always have to be a little bit bigger than what you would be in person. So a little bit higher because it's easy to get down as the time. Yeah, anyway, for me, I find.
For me, one thing.
Go ahead.
For me, one thing that's worked visually, Amir, with your use of the flip chart, which is what you would do in person, it actually brings it more to life. So the experience I had was that I was not watching a screen. When you moved back towards your flip chart, I actually felt as if I was in the same room as you were presenting that flip chart, and it made it more real.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was also one of the decisions or the reasons why I decided not to put any background.
Okay.
So I know that it's a little bit vulnerable because I invite people into part of my living room.
Sure.
On the other hand, I have nothing to hide. So yeah, I hope that vulnerability shows through.
Yeah. Question for you, Amir. Obviously, for those who will be starting their journey or whose journey might be halfway through the application process, how receptive are you towards people reaching out to you outside of today's or when this seminar finishes and you offering support without compromising your position, because you're a member of the review panel, so there's only so much you could do. But what's your thoughts about you being there for people to contact you?
Yeah, this is something which I'm already doing. So I'll extend it and I say I'll be happy to, with an asterisk. That asterisk says, provided that my workload allows.
Okay.
Meaning that you might expect a reply from me within a week. It can also happen that I just give you immediately.
Okay.
It's just a matter of how loaded am I. It's absolutely feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Amir, do you touch on the topic of being nominated versus going through part 1 and part 2? Or being,
no, I'm not going to touch it.
Nominated or?
Yeah, it is nomination. I'm not going to touch it at all.
Okay.
Do you have specific questions regarding the nomination path?
Oh, no, just that it's a different process, no? Because don't you miss part of part 1 and you go more into part 2? Is that was my understanding?
Right. Yeah, and this is where the one who actually nominates you has a lot of stake, meaning that there's a lot to gain and also a lot to lose if the nominated person doesn't make it. Yeah. So.
Okay. So do you find that people are doing nominations less? Actually, I was talking to a CC and they've stopped. Some of them have stopped nominating because they go, it's too much extra work for them and hassle.
I wouldn't say that it's about the extra work. It's more about your confidence as a nominator that the nominated person, that is the candidate, will succeed. How confident are you? Okay. So if, for example, I am a nominator and I think that that person might make it, yet I can still see gaps, I'd rather suggest to address that gaps than to nominate that person. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Welcome.
Okay, that's 8 minutes gone.
Okay, so they're going to start coming now. Oh, so 8 minutes to go. 7 minutes ago.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious also about the feedback that will be provided for this workshop. What value did it bring to people? What did they discover, and so on and so forth?
Oh, I think understanding the competencies. You know, for me, for example, it's the first time I'm actually reading this. It's good. It's excellent. I've not seen this before. So is this published, Amir? Is it published on the Scrum Alliance?
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is part of the second part of the application.
Okay.
And also there is a statement that I shared in the very beginning that unfortunately many candidates miss it. That what we really want to see is the coaching mindset which is coming through, and how do you apply it, rather than just going through the being experts in Agile practices. Let me prepare the next flip chart.
I love the graphics. That must have taken you a while to do, no? Actually,
Yeah, it
drawing
does.
them
It
would
does.
have taken a
Thank
while.
you.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I'm drawing them. And I'm also a slow drawer, meaning that first of all, I do it with a pencil. And then I do the outlines and finally the shading and put in the color.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I've just noticed. I had not noticed before, but I've noticed your signature now there. Amazing. I didn't think it was yours. Wow.
I watched you yesterday, and it was just mind blowing. Well, I didn't watch you drawing them because you do the drawing offline, and then you bring it onto the board. Yeah. But I mean, even arranging them, aligning them on the canvas takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I usually do is to leave some empty space. I prefer not to use titles so that I can reuse them for different purposes.
Okay.
Meaning that, for instance, in today's talk for North America, I'm going to use most of these posters, yet they are going to have completely different meaning than in this workshop.
That's clever.
Same image, different perspective.
Oh, cool.
So what's the conversion process to go from paper onto digital? Do you actually use a camera to take the picture or what?
Yes, and what I used to do prior to the corona is to go to a publish house.
Okay.
And then they could scan it.
Okay.
Now I refrain from doing that. So yeah, I just use the camera. I use the how is it called? It is a ring which projects
your battery.
Your battery is gone.
Your laptop battery, Amir.
No, that's the camera.
Is that the camera?
Yeah, so that's the camera that is, yeah.
You need to plug your camera in.
See it happen in the break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've got to be conscious of one thing, is the recording. So I think Francis pointed out that this stuff is being recorded. So let's be conscious of that when talking, and also private chats are also included in the final chat.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to do. How much time do we have left?
We've got about 1.5 minutes, but I can let them run a bit longer.
Oh, it is crazy because I put it full.
Oh, that sounds positive.
Yes. So I might use the laptop then.
Okay. Do you want to rejoin on your laptop?
I don't think that it will be necessary.
I think you
Let
can
me
change.
just change.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 1 minute left.
Put it like this.
Do you want me to leave it running, or are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. So the battery lasted for 1 hour. So it will be enough for tonight's talk. And what I learned from it is that I need to purchase an additional battery so that if it happens, I can always exchange. Thank you for that experience.
Can you not have it with a cable running in it? Can you not have a cable powering it?
Actually, I think I can. I can give it a try.
Maybe not for now, but maybe later.
Maybe not for now.
Safety net.
Yeah.
I actually
10
think that
seconds
I
left.
can. I can still give it a try.
Yeah, go on.
Do you want me to
Go on.
let the room run a little bit?
Just a minute extra, I think it should be enough.
Yeah.
It is charging. And let's see. Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
Excellent.
if it's a camcorders tend to support in-camera charging.
This is another learning for me. Oh, it's too short. The cable is too short.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So shall I close the breakout and we'll just stick with this camera?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's the breakout rooms closing in 30 seconds. This camera's fine, Amir. It's absolutely fine. And when you stand there, that's perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And finally, I look only at you. I don't look up, down, you know.
Yeah, the only thing is the camera, your lens is pointing out the light on top of your head, so it looks like a halo.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I wanted to avoid.
Yes, that's
Is it
why
better?
it's good enough. Yes,
good enough, and then I need to take a step back, right?
That's perfect. You've got rid of the halo. Yeah.
So welcome everyone back.
And welcome back. What you don't know that happened during the exercise is that my video cam ran out of battery, and now I had to switch to the laptop camera, which is still fun, right? Cool. What I'd like to do next is, again, for 5 minutes, you are going to share with us what are new things that you discovered. So let's start with balance. What are your thoughts? Again, just raise your hands using Zoom, and then we will unmute you. Anyone who'd like to speak from balance?
Francesco's got his hand up.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Francesco.
Thank you. Sorry, not about balance, about catalyze. I misunderstood the question. If you're okay to jump.
Sure, let's go for it. Catalyze. Yeah.
Thank you. So we discussed the theme, and we had some good common points. We find incredibly hard to find proper resources on the web. We saw that to catalyze, you need to lead by example, and a great way to do that is to build a community of practice where people can share experiences, and maybe if you are helping facilitating the community of practice, you somehow can show the others, can inspire the others on how they can help spreading knowledge and spreading practices and spreading enthusiasm. You can help. In there, we found that this is growing in a way, in an informal way in Spotify with chapters. There's a notion of community of practices as a strong building block of the organization, but also in formal frameworks, we found in SAFE, there's a explicit mention in an entire chapter in the instruction manual that shows that. As a coach, you can help bringing change, also initiating conversation, for example, between a PO and the team, but also between a senior manager and a group of POs, for example, at any level. And a great way to do that is to start a coaching conversation with one of them. And we found a good primer of how to prompt those conversations and starting to ask them, how can I help you? What do you think it's missing? And see where the conversation goes, and then maybe connect that person with the others that can help solve the problem, or that can be misaligned and in this way realigned. We then found that similar to community of practice somehow having a practice, sorry for the word pun, of peer coaching and helping each other can help a lot, can help bringing a change in the person that then can reflect that back to the organization or the groups they work with.
Amir, you're on mute. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you for that, Francesco. My invitation to you is to go a little bit beyond that. And yes, communities of practice are part of. Also, how can you support leadership or more leadership within the organization? How can you support executives in their journey towards agility? So all of that makes part of Catalyst. Thank you, Francesco. Next, coaching competency. Who'd like to share?
Hey, Amir, Dana here.
Hi, Dana.
We had the opportunity to work together a lot in the past months. So I had the opportunity to work with our colleagues from breakout room 1 and discuss balance. So we've started the conversation discussing coaching versus training and how that is different from the perspective of the client versus the trainer or the consultant, and how we can differentiate between what we should do from a training perspective, and how we should actually talk about on specific subjects, like I don't know, set a scope in mind and just discuss that, versus coaching, which is more about asking the right questions and letting your customer discover for themselves the answers to those questions in their own context, and letting them fail versus actually providing the knowledge that they need to have in order to support their mission and the company. And also we've talked about the difference between coaching versus training in organizations with different maturity levels of Agile, and how that is balanced, because in organizations that start their journey, your time will be a bit more focused on the training part and explaining different definitions and concepts, versus when the organization is maturing, the coach is actually more valuable, because their expertise will be suited for specific individuals that already know the basis and just have a few more questions based on their culture and their values.
Right. Let me step in. So over here, we can think of consultancy. And this is where many people think, okay, agile coach, meaning that you're not expected to give advice. Yes, you are. It depends very much in the context. And this is where you should actually put the right hat at the right moment. What we are looking into is that, okay, you have that consultancy and you also have the coaching. How do you know when is the right moment to switch hats, if you wish? What provides more value to our clients at that given time? When we're speaking about coaching, we truly believe that people have incredible potential. They are resourceful, they are creative, they can figure things out by themselves. And what we need to do is to invoke in them, to let them open up and find their own solutions. Now, throughout the application, as I mentioned at the very beginning, what we want you to do is, especially in part 2, is to think more from a coaching stance, okay? Have the coaching mindset, and how do you show up as a coach? So our focus will be more on coaching than consultancy. It doesn't mean that consultancy is not important. It is important in the right context. Rather than giving people solutions all the time, we'd like to help them to figure out things by themselves. Time-wise, I promise to you that I will answer questions. I will be available after the session is over for 15 minutes. I will also extend my invitation to you, saying that I will stay throughout the event and beyond, meaning that if you have any questions once this Agile coaching retreat is over, feel free to reach me out. I'm going to speak also later on this evening for North America. You might get new tips over there. And before we conclude this session, I'd like to give you some homework. And the homework you can find in Morale. What I'd like you to do is just to take 5 minutes of your time and make yourself a commitment. And I'm going to share my screen briefly. So I'd like you to translate everything that you did here, because you did plenty of good stuff. And all of that good stuff, I'd like you to translate into your own action plan, meaning answering those questions to yourself. And if you don't mind to post them in the specific given area. So the questions are, what insights did you gain from this workshop? What will you do differently to become CTC? And finally, when will you apply your action plan? Is it going to be later on today? Is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be a week from now? Now, go and see CTC. Thank you all.